Welcome back now to segment 3 of January 2021. Archbishop, that was a great interview we had with Chris.
Yeah, Chris is amazing, and it opens up a whole new venture with faith and science, something that a lot of people have questions about.
Well, thanks to you for being part of this group who gathers and for opening up this conversation for all Catholics.
Yeah, I'm happy to be. I'm benefiting.
That's great. Yeah. Okay, now with a fun little thing. We hear from folks, they write us letters, they send emails and postings on our website, questions for the Archbishop. So this segment, and we've done it before, is ask you a series of questions that are on the minds of our viewers and so forth. And this time of year, January is such an important month. You know, we recognize so many things. This is the month where we celebrate the week of migration and refugees. We look at the celebration of the Martin Luther King holiday. We acknowledge this is the anniversary of the terrible challenge of the Roe v. Wade decision and how that's impacted us. But these topics often even divide Catholics. Some people say all the Church is concerned about is the life of the unborn. Archbishop, help us with the totality of this question.
It's a great question, and I think it's a question on many people's minds, Brian, so I'm happy to try to address it. I think the first and the shortest answer is to say that the call of the Church is to protect the child in the womb. And so unapologetically, we defend the innocent child in the womb. But my experience has been that people who are advocating for just laws are also the same people who are walking with moms in need.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a false division. The other thing I would say is this, that I think as Catholics, in fact, as all individuals, we bring a certain passion for life. Mm-hmm. You know how much I've been affected by my brother Georgie, and so I have a passion for people who have Down syndrome and their families. But that passion, I need to expand to the full teachings, Catholic social teachings of the Church. And the same is true for every person. So you mentioned earlier people who are celebrating the need for us to do more for immigrants. We need to do that. And we need to expand that so that we're not saying we're doing this instead of that, but rather there's the unity of our Catholic social teaching. So I invite people to become involved. The worst thing we can have is a bunch of spectators who are looking and saying, look what they did or look what they didn't do. No, we need everybody's engagement in the dignity of human life. And I think January is a perfect occasion to do that. I tell people, read the record, look on our website, and you'll see the full array of our Church's teachings, but unapologetically, we are for life from the moment of conception to natural death.
And there's a consistency through that.
It really is.
Very good.
It really is.
Okay, and this has a little bit of a reflection on the same theme because every time we have elections, and 2020 was a national election besides the local elections, and there always is this tension that gets created. Who are you for, who's against, and what do candidates stand for? But one of the things that our members, our viewers want to know is, why doesn't the Church endorse candidates?
Yeah, it's a logical question, and I think it's part of actually an even more fundamental question that's not being asked, and that is, where is the priority? Is it to the political party, or is it to our faith convictions? And of course, I think by even mentioning that, I've answered it. It's to our faith convictions. I think wisely, the Church teaches formation of conscience, and boldly does so, by the way. It doesn't mean that we're stepping back from public life. There are some people on one end of the spectrum that would say, let the Church stay out of all politics. There is another that says, let the Church be a political party. And by the way, if you look at the history of our world and the history of our Church, there have been times when the Church did espouse a political party, and people would do well to study that history. But I believe in our democratic republic. I believe in the fact that we have the opportunity to engage in public life, and that the Church very boldly, I think, announces our Church teaching. As you probably know, Archbishop Gomez formed a special committee with Archbishop Vigneron chairing it because our new president, of course, is also Catholic, and this is the second time in history of the United States for that. So we're looking at the need for us also to be very, very forthright in saying, although we support our public officials and although we don't take public positions, we do not want a public authority to be able to give confusion with regard to church teaching.
Well, they're not our teachers. They're not.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
And I think that's something that as we move forward, we'll hear and learn more about. So a great question, and I appreciate the chance to give at least an initial answer.
We've had more than one person ask us about a totally different topic. So let me get your brain to go a little bit different direction now. Because of COVID and all the different ways we had to address the sacraments and the gathering in churches over the last year, really, there was a question about reception of communion. And an old new topic returned about reception of the communion on the tongue versus the hand. What have you told priests and parishioners?
Thanks for asking, because different bishops approach this in different ways, by the way. Yeah. Brian, you give me an opportunity to say something first of all. Back in last March, when we were beginning to respond liturgically to the COVID reality, which we thought was going to be 3 weeks, people had all kinds of concerns. I am so proud of our pastors and of our lay leaders who have done yeoman work to do a couple of things. First of all, to keep people safe, and our parishioners to respond in a way of keeping people safe. Now, in the midst of that, there were some concerns that people said, well, they thought the safest approach was communion in the hand. Of course, it's an option, not of the priest, but of the person communicating. So we maintained that option for the people, and I believe we've insisted that it be done in a safe, hygienic way, and I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to do that.
Very good. Yeah. Archbishop, we got so many more questions here, but we're going to do one personal one before we end our show today. How are you doing? People are very concerned about your health.
Well, you know what? If people are saying, should we keep praying? Yet, please keep praying. Okay. I need all the prayers I can get. But I have to say, most people are probably thinking, well, I had the bout of cancer. And Brian, here we are in January. We're over a year since I had my surgery after I had chemotherapy and immunotherapy. I had a precautionary full year of immunotherapy. After that, I've completed that. My CAT scans have shown no malignancy. I feel good. And so I got to say to people, your prayers are working, and I'm delighted to continue to be so active as the Archbishop.
All we can say is praise God.
Thanks, and praise God. That's exactly right.
Thanks, Archbishop, and thank you, the viewers, for joining us for this January edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. See you again next month when we return once again.